girl.
Actually, might be younger. So I want to thank you ladies for being here. We're expecting more people to come, but thank you for coming. And I'm just excited to just be, with you guys and just have a conversation on what it means to be a woman, to make professional decisions like, should I go to grad school? First of all, I know not everyone's here yet, but just do a little intro on who you are, what school you went to, and what you do.
Sure. Do you want us to put the thing here?
You want to do that? Okay.
I just feel like no, you can start.
Oh, okay.
That was a little warm up.
Yeah, sure.
Sound.
Yes,
all
yes,
right.
yes.
Maybe I should move closer because they may be coming up.
Yeah.
Well, they can go around.
But they're gonna cut between the lines.
Yeah, they can come between you guys.
But then he can cut from the camera.
You want?
Is it comfortable enough? Like, is it not too close? That's fine.
Thank you. I love your dress.
Okay, so we'll let them figure out whatever they need to do. But let's kind of get the conversation going. Who are you? What schools did you go to? And what do you do now?
Okay. So my name is Empress. You can follow me at the Empress on Instagram. I got my undergrad from Clark Atlanta University.
Where is that?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
The ABC Spelman Morehouse and Clark.
Okay.
And then I got my master's from the B School, which is right here in Union Square. I got my master's in media management, graduated in 2015, and now I'm a producer at Refinery 29.
Wow.
And I run a business called Black, Brown, and Digital. Where right now we're just reshaping the format of it, where it's just going to be a resource email for content creators of color. So if you're like, I'm working on this film about Black women, and I need a Black woman editor because she's the only one who can really help me tell my story, but I don't know where to find her. My website and newsletter will be.
So you connect other Black creatives to work together. Basically.
Yes. And then also, I guess we'll go further into this, but I just wanted in grad school. Like, I just knew how to get money. I just knew how to find stuff. I even had my school pay for me to go to South Africa. So I also want to just provide resources for that.
Yeah.
Where's the money? Where are the grants? Where's just the community?
Girl, we need your voice.
Right.
So let's just get to this intro, and then we'll get to all that good stuff.
Yeah.
No, I definitely would love to hear more about that. Okay.
Lord.
Well, my name is Mia Hall, and I went to Hampton University for undergrad.
Where is that in case people don't know?
Yep, so in Hampton, Virginia.
Okay.
And so when I was in my junior year of college, really junior/senior, because I graduated in 3 years, but the year before my last year at Hampton, I heard about this scholarship at my church, honestly, and you had to be applying to one of the top schools in your major. So I was like, okay, well, I need money for grad school. Like, I know I didn't have a lot of money, so I was like, let me, just think about going to one of these top schools. And so I laughed about the scholarship after church with my dad, like, ha ha ha, like, what if you went to Yale or Princeton or something like that? Because I grew up in projects, and it was never had a lot, never knew anybody that went to Harvard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we laughed about it, but I looked at all the Ivy League schools, and I was like, well, let me look at Harvard last because it would be the hardest to get into and the most expensive. So anyway, I went through all the other ones, and I was just like, they didn't really have a program that spoke to me. And so but I looked at Harvard, and I was like, wow, this has a great program, informal learning. I could, do the education that I want to do. And so I, prayed about it, and I felt like, I was like, okay, it's not going to be just you, it's going to be me working through you to get to that next level. And so I applied, you know, did 7 drafts. I was like, 7 is the number of completion. I'm
Hey.
going to
Look
like,
at her.
I'm going to be
Going
faithful,
deep in the Bible.
you know, and yeah, one day I got an email saying that, you know, I got in to Harvard Graduate School of Education. So that's where, long story behind where I got my graduate.
And what do you do now?
And so now I am a trainer and content producer. So
Trainer for the media field?
no, trainer in education.
Okay, got it.
So I have a program called Brown Girls Glow, and so I speak to different schools and speak to different students about, you know, how to break out of your comfort zone and into your dream career. And I also speak to high school girls on how to prepare for college.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, thank you
so-
for coming.
Yeah, and then on the content production side, I'm a freelancer, so I write for Black Enterprise, Slam Magazine, Future Report, ESPNW, and different outlets like that. So I'm on the report.
Nice. Wow. That's a really awesome combo there. That's really inspiring. Well, my name is Frida Farfong. People call me Ifia. I'm from Ghana, so that's where Ifia comes from. And my undergrad was at University of North Texas, Denton, Texas. And then my MBA was from Grad University in Springfield, Rhode Island. And I was inspired to bring the subject up because I know a lot of women in particular that are struggling with the decision whether to go to grad school or not. I know my decision wasn't a struggle because my parents was like, you are Ghanaian, you're getting a higher. That wasn't my decision to make. But if we really want to think about it, I kind of had to pick a school. I kind of had to take the GMAT. I kind of had to take the GRE. So I did have a decision in it, but all in all, it was done for me. And by the grace of God, He saw me through everything. So I'm with you there on praying and believing that it will happen, it will happen. But I kind of want to talk about what instance made you feel like, okay, you know what, I've hit a wall, or you know what, I feel like I can't move any further unless I do this, unless I go to grad school, unless I do that. So talk about that wall that you hit, and you're like, okay, I have to go to grad school to break this.
Well, I graduated in 2009 and with my a bachelor's in public relations from Clark, Atlanta, and I had like so many internships. I was a shoe-in to get a job as soon as I graduated, and then the financial crisis happened. Boom, nobody had a job, and I had to move back home. I'm from Long Beach / Compton, California, so I feel you. And I went home to LA. All the PR jobs were like, they weren't checking for me because I was black. You know? It was
that is real.
No,
thank you for saying that. That is real.
And I couldn't find a job, so I ended up getting a job working for a community development program in the projects that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Teaching an after-school program, kind of like a Boys and Girls Club in the projects. So I did that for like 3 years, and I loved it. I was giving back to the young people. And then one day I'm talking to one of my kids, and I was like, "What do you grow up?" And she was like, "A basketball life, duh." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, if I want something better for myself, like that's what I see on TV, and like that's when it hit me. I was like, I gotta go to grad school. Like I gotta work behind the scenes in TV so I can make a change. And that was the wall. Then I was like, fuck it, I'm about to apply. I had a boyfriend who went to the new school, so I was always coming up to New York City, and I would just like go up to the new school and just kind of chill around. And one day I asked to take some classes, like while I was visiting him, and I liked it, and we broke up. A week later, I applied for grad school. This is right before Thanksgiving. 2 weeks later, they said, you're in. School starts January 15th in New York. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
No money, no nothing.
That's a completely different life change, though, because you're coming from the other side to New York. So that's props to you. What about you?
Awesome. So for me, I mean, I graduated from my undergrad in 2005, and I went right into grad school. So I always knew, or at least my passion for education came when I was in high school. So I always was like, why is it that me and my friends, you know, we want to go to class, we don't want to cut class, like we want to get good grades. And then there's a group of people that look like me, that we came from the same place, like my mom, you know, had me when she was a teenager, your mom had, like, you know, nobody is like rich or anything. Yeah. Like we come from the same neighborhood. Well, why am I motivated and these students like aren't? So that always like boggled my brain. So since I didn't get my graduate degree in education. I got my undergrad degree in sport management. I was like, I know I still want to like figure out that problem, like figure out that issue. So that's really what, why I knew I wanted to go to grad school, because I didn't get to study education in the way that I wanted to in undergrad. So I was like, I have to, do this.
Supplement that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I was chosen to go to grad school. Grad school didn't choose me.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Which is
that
a blessing in
you
disguise.
decided to step into that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I did feel like it was a jacket that was too big for me to wear, because my undergrad was in political science. And so I was studying to be a lawyer. I was supposed to be the next lawyer in my family. It didn't happen. But I, like you, I felt like there was something more in me that needed to kind of come out. So I was like, what degree makes sense for someone that wants to build something they don't know yet, but they want to build something and like push something out of them. So I was like, you know what? Maybe business is a good one, because it's pretty general, but you can also get really specific into marketing, into finance. So it was something that I didn't know at all, and it was a field that would surprisingly be something that I love now. Like when I hear about a new business, I'm like thinking about the model and like how they set it up and like what is their core, what do they do better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was something that I didn't know I liked until I jumped into it.
Okay.
So is there anything about grad school to you that you felt like, okay, I didn't expect this subject or this thing to change my life? Was there any life-changing moments in grad school that would be worth someone to go to grad school for?
Oh, that's so good. A moment that changed me in grad school. Well, okay, so I decided to go to the new school, and at first, since I was working in like nonprofit, I was like, I think I'm gonna go for nonprofit with like media spin. Then I decided to just go for media strictly, and that naturally was like I wanted to work in like BET, the corporate media, right? So I understood that it was important for me to find as many black communities at school, especially because I went to HBCU. So I'm like, where are black people at? Like, where are we at? And I couldn't find us, but I found one teacher named Michelle Mater, and she worked in the media studies department, and she, on her side, she curated independent films made by people of color across the diaspora. And so she brought me in as like her trainee or whatever, and through her, I learned about independent media, and I learned about the diaspora, right? Like, again, I'm from Long Beach, California, so all I saw was like poverty. Then I went to an HBCU, but that was like the black experience in America. So then when I went to the new school, and Michelle was like teaching me about Africa and about Haiti and all different other cultures through film, I was just like, my mind was blown, to where now, like, my goal in media is to create programming that like crosses the continent, like brings us all together. So I thought originally that I wanted to work in like corporate media, but nah, like I want to stay in an independent space.
Not to cut you off, but it basically formed the idea of your company. Bringing black people together, bringing creators together for like
all over.
Creative. Nice.
For sure.
Perfect.
Oh, something else I think. I mean, definitely the whole experience. When I graduated, I was 20 years old. Like, I didn't even have like much work experience, but just going there, being at the Ivy League, honestly, it helped me to break down stereotypes. Not that I didn't know that there were many different types of black people going to a HBCU. Like, I always say, and I wrote a story, that an HBCU prepared me for Harvard. Like, because I saw black excellence. Like, I was inspired by the people that were presidents and studying abroad, and helped me to want to study abroad, go to China and stuff like that. But when I got to grad school, I also believe it was the same thing, to where I created groups and was able to form study groups. Not only amongst the black people, but just like if there was only a few of us in our class, and sometimes I was the only black person in our class, I would find those study groups. So that really helped me, and just seeing people from all around the world coming together, whether there were like baggy pants and hat to the back, like all of us were here at this Ivy League institution. So it definitely opened my mind in that way, and also the support that comes with like graduate school education. So granted, it was hard. Granted, they have high expectations, but they also give you what you need in order to meet those expectations. Like, so they don't expect you to, just kill it automatically. They have a whole institute of study, that I went to learn how to speed read, and we learned different study habits. Like, I took like a whole course on study habits, because that's what they emphasize.
Yeah.
So it really taught me a different way of learning. You know what I mean? Like, not only just like, it taught me comprehension, and that you can have this different way of studying that I never saw before. So
yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that. So as far as you're talking about what you did to prepare while you were in grad school, how did you prepare for grad school? Like, I took the GRE and the GMAT because I didn't do too well in the GRE, so I was like, okay, let me just take the GMAT and see. And my school took both test results. But how did you like emotionally and like professionally prepare for grad school? Because you have to have a resume.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that, but you have to have your resume ready for grad school. You have to do a test, either the GRE or the GMAT or the MCAT or whatever. So how did you guys personally, and also financially, you have to pay for those tests. You have to take time out of work to study for those tests. It's not just a couple of weeks, it's months. And if you fail, you kind of have to do it again. So how did you guys put yourself in that space to mentally prepare and also financially prepare for those things?
Okay. To prepare for grad school. Well, honestly, I'm thankful for, like I said, the accountability. Really, when I knew I was applying to Harvard, they had this weekend for people of color. So I feel like that was like if you're going to a PWI or predominantly white institution, look for their like people of color or like minority weekend or programs, because they'll always have that. So I went to, I didn't know how I was going to get to Boston from Virginia. Like, I was in school in Virginia. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't know, people up there. But I was like, I'm going to this weekend. It's overnight. If I have to stay on the train, overnight and not sleep, but, just stay up and drink coffee, whatever, I'm going to go. So anyway, but that person of color weekend like really helped me prepare, because they introduced us to different grad school students and graduates, and we were able to meet our professors, and we were able to get just outlines on like tips for our essays and things like that. So honestly, going to that like weekend before I even handed in my application, like that's what really helped me to prepare. Like, it told us about scholarships and things like that. Like, so I think just being plugged into that program, and just really honestly, when I do something, I eat, drink, and sleep, like that process. So I was like, no, I had to go on. So I'm like going to different parts of the website, like, okay, what can I find? What can I find? So, and I found that little program. I was like, all right, bet. And that's what honestly like helped prepare me. Without that program, I don't even think I would have got in. So.
And I want to say something too, like the GRE and stuff like that, the entrance test that you have to take to get to grad school. You can actually get it for free with a voucher. And then you just have to show them that you need the voucher based on your financial situation or something like that. So definitely look into the resources that aren't provided to you immediately. Do that extra research. Because I could have taken the GRE for free, and I didn't know that at the time that I was taking it. I just took it, and then my sister was like, you can get a voucher for that. So don't overlook these things. Go to the websites, ask your counselors, even from your undergrad, and see how you can help yourself financially.
Absolutely. Well, I was fortunate that I didn't have to take any tests to get into the new school. Their program was like really, really new. So it was just a series of essays that I had to write. But because literally I found out the day after Thanksgiving, and school started in January 15th to be exact. And I was coming from LA. The only way I really prepared was I literally reached out to everybody. Like, I started putting everything into the atmosphere, into the universe on Facebook. Like, hey, I am moving to New York. I don't know how this is happening, but baby girl needs help. And a lot of people were able to connect me with people from New York, or who had went to the new school, who live in LA. So I would just start having conversations with these people, and they just drop some gems on me on like how to navigate New York City, how to navigate the school. And then financially, I sold my car. I literally got rid of everything. It mattered that much to me.
Yeah.
And then I got there a week early, and I was literally sitting in financial aid every day. And I would sit there and be like,
Yeah.
I need help. Like, what's up? I need you guys to help me. And I looked beyond what was in front of me to find like scholarships and money. And again, like I saw Michelle Matera, she was the only black teacher there, so I was like, I need help. Like I'm here, I got accepted, but now I need money. And she just literally guided me towards the things that I needed. And I just, like you, got obsessed with like applying for scholarships and things, and it helped me.
Name a couple of scholarships that gave you.
Yes. My first one was the LeGrant Foundation. So if LeGrant Foundation is a nonprofit that gives money to people of color in advertising, marketing, and PR. But now we all know that that includes digital as well.
Amen.
And I'm sure we all know it's hard to get money for grad school. It's a little different for some reason. Like they don't support you as much. So LeGrant gives, I think it was like I got a $10,000 scholarship that year because that was their 20th year. But they give like $5,000 scholarships, and it's also a mentoring program. So I got to get internships through them and a lot of like career day things through them. The National Black MBA Association.
Wait, but you didn't do MBA, so explain that. Explain that to us.
So again, Michelle Matera, when she wasn't teaching, she had this business called Creatively Speaking, where she highlighted independent film made by people of color across the diaspora. My background was in PR, so I was like, Michelle, like, let me help you with the operations of this. So even though I wasn't going to school for business, I was helping to run a business. And so when I learned about grad school, like you said, like you learn how to do speed reading and all these things. I learned how to read in between the lines, right? So you'll see an application that says you need to have this, this, this. But I'm like, but you're missing this. So I would call up the application people and I'm saying, well, I know this is for MBA students, but I do business stuff. I take business classes and I'm helping someone run a business. Can I still please apply? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out on faith and just apply. And I recognize a lot of people don't apply for scholarships. I still won.
Yeah.
I still won the money because I was able to prove that I was still doing business and I was still taking these classes.
Yeah.
So the Grant National Black MBA Association, Alpha Kappa Alpha gave me a scholarship. I didn't pledge, but if you go on their website, they have money for people. There's a lot of money there. You just literally have to go outside of what you see. And one rule that I always do when I'm applying for anything that I'm hesitant to apply for because I might not apply. I mean, I might not fit the description. I simply call them.
Yeah.
And just like, hey, this is who I am, and this is why I think that you should allow me to apply. And they always say, okay, apply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is the people that the scholarship is for, they're probably not applying.
Right.
Because they just don't know.
Yeah, because you literally, when grad school teaches you to go after it yourself. Like, you're mastering something, you have to get out there and get it. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I think you said you don't have any loans.
From grad school.
From grad school.
Undergrad is different.
You don't have loans from
It's
grad
a bit
school.
different. I learned my lesson.
But listen, New York is expensive, and the
Yes.
fact that you don't have any loans from grad school, that's something to applaud. Because I'm telling you right now, I am suffering.
I'm suffering
with-
from
with
undergrad
the
though,
loans.
because I didn't know in undergrad.
Yeah, but you didn't double dip, right? You just dipped that once, and you just got your loans, and you just got your
Yeah.
grants. And
But I owe like over 100,000 undergrad because I really didn't
so
know.
let's talk about
Man,
it. So what
I
is
didn't
our
know.
plan? Because I have loans. Do you have any loans, undergrad or grad?
I have grad loans.
Okay, so you have loans, and you have loans. What is our plan to pay back these loans? Hustle.
Yeah.
So for me, what I plan on doing is starting a company and just using whatever I learned in my MBA courses
Yeah.
to develop a business that is able to sustain me and pay my loans. Right now, I'm just doing a startup company right now. It's a video on demand for African content.
Nice.
So I need to speak
So
to
we
your
can-
mentor.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, so bringing all these kind of content together, because that's really not in the mainstream right now, and I'm wondering why. I feel like there's a big space of people, even if you're not African or African American, you're influenced by the African culture. When the dashiki came out,
Mm.
white people were wearing it,
Yeah.
Hispanics were wearing it, so it's not,
It's
you
a
don't,
market.
exactly. So I just feel like there is a marketplace missing for African content in the mainstream. So that's what I'm working on my own, to kind of off my loans a little bit. What is your future plans to kind of pay off your loans? Like, what are you doing right now or working on right now that will help you?
Yeah, definitely definitely my own business, I have spoken to people that, are in loan programs and things like that, so I am looking into that, because my loans are very, like, small right now. It's like...
So what is a loan? Can you explain what you understand about a loan forgiveness, just in case no one really understands that here?
Yeah, there's certain things in place, like, honestly, you can get a job, like, in education. Like, I worked in a high school for 5 years, and if you get a job in, like, a certain neighborhood, they'll give you loan forgiveness. Like, you can, work there. I think you have to work there, like, 5 years or something like that, but every year they'll, take something off. So, it's either, like, job-based, or I believe that they have other, like, jobs, like, either in, like, the inner city or low-income communities that you can get, and there's a way that you can, have loan forgiveness. So I'm just doing my research on that, like, in the beginning. But yeah, in order to make money, I definitely think that, learning how to make your own money and your own income, is definitely a way that I'm doing it. So that's why I'm developing this curriculum, and hope to have it in schools, like, nationwide. So, I'm starting in New York City, but, hope to be able to sell it and, expand it to schools all around the country, and, build that program up to really prepare these girls, not only for college, but graduate school and even beyond.
You need to invite these girls to this brunch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So first, I'm going to hook up with Mia to
Uh-huh.
find out my forgiveness
Yes.
stuff. I don't really know.
Yes.
But definitely freelancing on the side. So just my background's in PR and digital marketing, and it's so funny because this morning before I stepped out, I was like, God, okay, by January 2018, my goal is to make $1,000 of extra income on the side, just like consulting, and the same thing. As far as Black, Brown, and Digital right now, I'm just building a network. Like, you know how I don't do clubs with just like sending out email blasts about stuff you can do?
Yeah.
And now it's like a thing?
Yes.
I understand that stuff takes time. So Black, Brown, Digital is just building up our resource and our network. Working in the kind of company I'm working in, I understand how to get like advertisements and brands endorsed and things like that. So right now it's just consulting.
Yeah.
And loan forgiveness, and then eventually Black Brown Digital will become just the leading resource for content creators of color.
So speaking on loan forgiveness and figuring out how we're gonna deal with our loans, was grad school worth it? And I don't want a yes or a no. I want to break down. Like, be real.
Yeah.
Be real. Think of everything you've been through.
Yep.
What you're going through. Could you have done it without grad school? Is it worth someone putting down their pretty penny for it? And what would you advise someone on the fence?
Now, I'm of the mind that grad school is very beneficial, is very important, but honestly, people that are going to school today, like, there's so much money and opportunity available for you that I don't think you have to pay for grad school. So I would definitely advise, like, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't pay. Like, I would look for a program or look for a school to where, they are giving, they love me enough and they know the work that I'm doing enough to be able to give me a scholarship to do that work.
Sure.
I also think that, once you graduate undergrad, like, I would have some time working. I would get the work experience. I don't, unless it's like a, doctoral program, where you have to go through medical school and stuff like that. But, if you can work and find out your mission, find out your purpose, and that purpose, you're going to be working it out in grad school. You're going to be doing the research for the mission that you want to accomplish in grad school. So somebody is going to want to be able to pay you to do that, right? And, have that, and then that can also potentially set up a job for you after, right? Because if you have a specific mission and this organization is, paying you to go to school, for that mission, like, they're going to want to see it after you graduate. They're going to want you to execute. So that's what I really believe. Like, I don't believe that you should have to pay for grad school. I do think that it's worth it, but I don't think that you should pay. Find a fellowship or, a program. And, sometimes it's not always where you go, but what you do when you get there, right? So you can go to a big Ivy League, okay, but I still had to look for a job for a year after I graduated from that Ivy League. So it's not about where you go, it's about what you do when you get there. Can you be the president of the team, and you know what I mean? Like at a smaller college, you might be able to do more things. So you have to look into that too.
It's funny you say that because I also looked for a job for more than a year after grad school. And I was thinking, well, maybe if I had a Harvard on my resume, or if I had an NYU on my resume, it would be easier. But you just saying that really just puts to light, it's not about this, it's about you and what you want to put into the world. I feel like grad school is for the people that say, okay, I got my education, but what can I give the world? Like, what can I have a legacy on? And I feel like if you're on the fence, decide whether you want to have a certain legacy and a certain level of excellence to make that come true. And then if that's a yes, then go to grad school and then find a way to pay for it. Do the scholarships, do the loans. I mean, not loans, do the grants, and get your company paid for it. I don't think were you guys working for when you were in grad school? But some companies, they pay you to go to school, so you can do that too. And then didn't mean to cut you off.
I same thing both of you are saying. I think just to reiterate, like you have to have the vision already. Like I actually, before I came here, was looking at my statement of purpose, the letter that I wrote to get into grad school, and I'm like, I am carrying out what I said I wanted to do, and so I was able to use that and develop so many projects and initiatives while I was there. But I had so much passion for it. I think also grad school is great if, just like I was working for a nonprofit, I was working in community development. I was like, I want to get into media. I didn't know how I was going to be able to get into media with a whole resume full of nonprofit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, let me get into grad school because I know what I want. And so that helped me from there. But is it worth it? If I think certain things like being a doctor, a lawyer, media, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like people, you can just buy a camera and some good lights and create your brand and like do your thing. Like I work with the social media influencer right now, and she literally just does her thing every single day, and she's consistent. She didn't go to grad school, and she got 100K followers, and brands are like hitting her up every day. So it's about your personal vision, but I say before I went to grad school, I literally developed a list of all the Black scholarships. Like even if it wasn't for me, just like where the money is, then I was like, okay, I can sell this, I can do this. I don't know if it's for everybody. Yeah. You gotta really love that the major that you pick, right? You gotta want to decide to be a master of this because that's what you're in your master's. So if you don't want to be a master in it, if you're not trying to take this craft seriously, if you decide to change your mind, then it's not worth it. You've just lost a lot of money. Yeah. But I also think that grad school is a really great place as well because you get to study and grow with other people who are in this industry as well. Yeah. Yeah, and that's important. It's more, my teachers became my best friends. Michelle Matera is like my mother. She literally is my mom out here.
Well, you came from, like, you're so far away, you need a family here.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You're all the way in LA and you came to New York.
Right. But it's even more room to, like, develop your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Did you have to leave? Okay.
Oh,
no problem.
Well, so, maybe if you want to take, like, a question.
Yeah, let's do a question. That's a good one. Anyone have a question about what you've heard? Maybe something we didn't say that is on your heart, or any confusion, something we should clarify?
I just want to commend all of you because when it comes to like, I think life after undergrad is like, I feel like, especially my generation, is pretty passive. Like you just expect things to just go well instead of being intentional. So I really like commend you guys for like putting your mind to it and like, you know, making sure I'm gonna do this. Yeah. So like just hearing you guys speak and hearing your story, hearing your background, it's really inspirational because like a lot of the times like you don't know what to do and you're like kind of lost and you wait till undergrad to finish and you're like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, was it even worth it? Like, is it even worth it to go further? Because it's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You have to because you're done.
Yeah. Of course. There's no other way. But like, you can do it and have it enforced on you, but like to have a passion and a purpose behind it, like you guys said, I think that's what drives you to like, you know, not even to finish, but for excellence, you know, and I really commend you guys for what you do.
So are you thinking about grad school?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like even before going to medical school, because I really like, as you said, about understanding and not just studying for like studying's sake, but studying to grasp and understand, to master what you're doing. Like that is something like I feel like it's so important and it's missing, especially my generation, because like you just want to do it and get it over with, getting to your career, but instead of like trying to like, you know, put some knowledge in you and, you know, make yourself take your time
and nurture that. I
nurture.
Think also, well, the program that I decided to choose was, well, the reason why I chose the new school is because they had an interdisciplinary program, right? So yeah, I went to school for media studies or media management, but I still took classes in nonprofits. Remember, I came from nonprofits, so I'm like, I still want some of those classes. I took social justice classes, and I got to create my curriculum around media on like a broader sense. So grad school again helped me do that because I got to create my curriculum and open my eyes to something way larger than just media and use those skills into like the way that I produce content now. So yeah, you get to choose.
You have a question?
Yeah. So I think, you know, things are changing, right, culturally, but even with the change that we're seeing culturally, there's still a large amount of patriarchy that exists, especially in corporations and especially in the educational world. And on top of that, we have racism to deal with. So,
and sexism.
And sexism. Well, that's what I'm saying with the patriarchy. You get that because you know the white men tend to kind of rule, and you know things trickle down. So I guess it's a two-part question. Talk about your experience as women and women of color, right, in this world that tends to be very male-oriented and also very, you know, white male-oriented. So just talk about that experience a little bit, and then the second part is what advice would you give to younger women of color who are, you know, who are interested in going into that environment, or who are already in that environment and maybe facing some of those challenges and how they can kind of overcome and circumvent them.
I just want to say that to really be the best person in that industry, to be that point person, no one can deny you because of your sex, because of who you love, because of your skin color. If you're the best in what you do, no one is going to deny that. So if that is your focus, to bring that level of excellence, then half the battle is won. And there's just being smart about who you associate with, who you let in as far as media, what you take in as a person, and also be smart about setting goals. So I think that's the advice I would give like a young female deciding this factor. And also, like these ladies said, do your research. Make sure you know who you are, who you want to be, and don't fall for any no. Because in existence there is no no. You are the no. If you accept something, that is the no. So don't accept it, push for it, and be the best you can be.
Yeah, your reputation goes in the room before you do. So definitely, like, just make sure there's no gray areas, of course, like with, you know, males and, you know, kind of like what you're doing and what you're about. Of course, integrity, I think, is, you know, the most important thing. And when you have that integrity, when your reputation speaks, like, okay, I know her, she's like a stand-up woman, she doesn't like try to do anything like using her, you know, use your female prowess like when it's necessary, like you're bringing a diverse perspective, use it in that way, and never like do something that would be out of line or even questionable, of course, so that you keep a good reputation. And then, you know, definitely like know that you have an advantage because, you know, you're a woman of color, because, you know, you bring a different perspective than, you know, of course, everybody else. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. I've sat in grad school classes where I was the only one, often white male teachers who I felt like always tried to like censor you and or just don't even acknowledge you, you know? So for me, again, it's like finding that community. The first thing I did when I went to this school, even though the school says we're progressive, I don't know, we all know, but I know for sure that a lot of companies and schools that say we're progressive means that they're really not.
Yes.
They act like it. It just attacks write off for them to say diversity. They don't fucking care. So I had to find my community first. Second, be authentic. Like, I would be like, I'm sitting right here in the front of this room. I'm going to challenge everything you say, and I'm going to speak the way that I speak, and I'm not going to try to change who I am for you. So that's really important as you navigate the space.